What's up, YouTube? What is up, YouTube? Hello, YouTube. It's John here from British Native Speaker, your pronunciation and accents coach. Today I have 3 instant and interesting ways to speak more like a British native speaker. Now, there's lots of different ways that I could have chosen, but I've chosen 3 good ways for you to start with if you haven't already. So, shall we get going with number 1? Number 1 is to use lots of different expressions when you're speaking and use a variety of different words. And use a lot of slang, or try and understand when to use slang. Okay? So remember to use a variety of different expressions to express yourself. And maybe learn 1 or 2 which are uniquely British. So let's pick a subject, shall we? Let's do words for very tired. So, the obvious one is I'm exhausted. Let's go through some more. You could say I'm drained. You could say I'm knackered, which is very British. You could say I'm dead. Not literally, hopefully. By the way, knackered also means out of order or not working. So you can say my car is knackered. So to sound more like a native speaker, learn to express things in different ways. And coming soon, I'll be making a series of videos featuring uniquely British expressions. So remember, you can subscribe now. Just hit the little red button below and you can subscribe to the channel. Number 2, let's do some proverbs and idioms. We use them a lot in English. And to be more like a British native speaker or a native speaker, you need to understand and be able to use idioms. And sometimes proverbs. So a proverb is like a saying. And an idiom is like a number of words that when put together mean something completely different from when they're taken apart. Now idioms we can categorize idioms under subjects. So you can have sports idioms, you can have parts of the body idioms, you can have colour idioms. And today we're interested in weather idioms, specifically rain, or those that include the word rain. So we're going to do idioms and proverbs that include the word rain, okay? Now, the first idiom we can look at is the phrase, right as rain. So let's say you fall over and your friend says, "Are you okay?" And you can say, "Yeah, I'm as right as rain," if you absolutely feel fine. But you must feel fine. Secondly, this is a proverb, and it is, "It never rains, but it pours." So this means when one bad thing happens, lots of bad things happen at the same time. For example, you lose your glasses, and because you lose your glasses, you walk into a lamppost. And because you walked into a lamppost, you've broken one of your teeth and it hurts. And number 3 is my favourite idiom of all time. It is raining cats and dogs. This means it's pouring with rain. Now the rule of the idiom is you must keep the same word order and you must keep the same words. So for example, you can't say it's raining elephants and frogs, right? So you have to say it's raining cats and dogs, and you can't even say it's raining dogs and cats. So that's number 3, it's raining cats and dogs, in our idioms and proverbs section, which is number 2 on the list of ways to sound like a native speaker. Number 3 is learn to react using specific words to do that. You need to use them and say them in a relaxed and natural way. You can say okay, Really? And one of my favourites, which I observe a lot, is when you watch a news report, look out for the reporter on the ground and the newsreader in the studio. Let's say the newsreader says to the reporter, "What's the situation like now?" And 99% of the time, the reporter on the ground will start with the word "well." For example, there's a hurricane and you're a reporter on the ground and you might say, and in the studio, the newsreader might ask, "So what's the situation now?" And you might say,
"Well, it's blowing, it's blustering and blowing now. You can see roofs coming off buildings. It's raining cats and dogs. And I'm so knackered." No, actually, he wouldn't say that. He would say, "I'm so drained because I've been standing here for hours. And now I just want to go home and have a nice cup of tea."
So let's recap, shall we? Number 1 was use a variety of expressions to express yourself. For example, I'm knackered and I'm drained. Number 2, in English we use a lot of idioms and sometimes proverbs, so try and use them and understand them. For example, it's raining cats and dogs. And number 3, learn to react using specific words and phrases. Like when you're starting a reaction to something, you can say, "well," and then continue. And these are 3 ways to become a better speaker, a more natural speaker, and sound more like a British native speaker.